Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation and the City of Stamford, I would like to welcome you all for attending this public informational meeting for State Project Number 135-344, replacement of bridge number 04070, located on Wire Mill Road over Haviland Brook in the City of Stamford. My name is Preeti Bardwaj, and I am the project manager assigned to this project. We appreciate your willingness to participate in this forum virtually, and we hope that you will find this meeting both informative and interesting. I would now like to explain the format and agenda for tonight's meeting. I will be explaining how you will be able to interact with the project team. I will be explaining how the project is funded in the Federal Local Bridge DMS, or Design Managed by the State program. We will be having some welcoming remarks by the City of Stamford. I will then introduce the project design team, and that includes the department's front office leadership, the department's design team, and our consultant liaison engineering team. This will be followed with a technical presentation of the design, which will include the condition of the existing structure, purpose and need for the project, and the recommended design solution, which has progressed to a 30% design completion. As part of the department's public outreach program, it is at this point that we are now reaching out to you, the public, while it is still early in the design process, to receive any comments and concerns, and also answer any questions that you may have. And lastly, we will have the live question and answer session. I will now explain how you will be able to interact with the project team. There are three means of how you will be able to communicate this evening. And the first is by email, and that email address is dot-flbp@ct.gov. And I will spell that out. It is dot-flbp@ct.gov. Or you can also phone in, and that phone number is 860-944-1111. Again, it's 860-944-1111. Or you can also communicate by chat on the MS Teams live event chat. In this format, you can ask a question by clicking on the little question mark, which shows Q&A, and this will bring up your live event Q&A field. Select the Ask a Question button at the bottom right screen, and a field will pop up. And you can type your question and hit either Enter with a little arrow button to send. You can also check the box on the bottom to post your question anonymously if you prefer. There will be a slight delay, but eventually your question will appear in the featured section with all other questions that are asked tonight. The project email, phone, and chat will be screened by the project team during the Q&A session, and the questions asked by any of these methods will be posted to the MS Teams Q&A chat window. The questions will then be asked out loud for the project team to answer. You can ask questions at any time during the presentation, but we will answer these questions during the live Q&A session that follows. We also have a project webpage link where the recording of tonight's entire presentation, including the Q&A session, will be stored. The webpage will also contain the same information that I have previously explained on how to provide comments and ask questions. And that project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT Stamford 135-344. And I will also spell that out. It is portal.ct.gov/DOT STAMFORD135-344. And lastly, please remember the comment period to ask questions or provide comments will be open through April 1st, 2021. So if you think of a question after tonight's meeting or want to expand on a question asked tonight, you will have until April 1st to do so. The MS Teams chat function is only available during tonight's live Q&A session. We would greatly appreciate it if you could fill out a brief survey that the department has through SurveyMonkey. The virtual public informational meeting platform is still a relatively new one for the department, and this survey will help the department improve these public meetings going forward. There's also a civil rights flyer available. Both the links to the survey and civil rights flyer are located on the previously mentioned project webpage. And lastly, I am required to read the following statement as part of the Title VI Civil Rights Act, and that is, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. I will now explain how this project is being funded. This bridge is a town-owned bridge and is being funded under the department's federal local bridge program. Traditionally in this program, the town selects a designer, and because federal funds are involved, the department provides administrative oversight because the department is considered to be stewards of those federal funds. The funding is traditionally 80% federal and 20% town for the design, rights-of-way, and construction phases of the project. However, this project is going to be funded under the department's newly launched DMS, or Design Managed by the State program. In this program, it will be the department who will be performing the design on behalf of the municipality, utilizing our consultant liaison engineers who are Close Jensen and Miller, or CJM, on this project. CJM has completed the 30% preliminary design, and it will be brought to final design completion by one of our pre-selected task-based designers. In addition, the design phase only will now be funded with 80% federal and 20% state funds. So the entire design phase is at zero cost to the city of Stamford. Although the 30% preliminary design was performed by the department, it was in full partnership and coordination with the city of Stamford. We held several meetings with the city and diligently worked together to incorporate most of the city's comments and concerns. And now we are reaching out to you, the community, to also weigh in. The initiative behind the DMS program was to expedite design delivery for municipal projects. The DMS program uses a streamlined design approach where we are able to utilize full departmental resources and are able to internally perform design tasks concurrently rather than linearly. And in this fashion, we are able to keep our municipal bridges in a perennial state of good repair. The department is pleased to be able to offer this program to the city of Stamford. The DMS program is spending your municipal and state tax dollars efficiently and effectively, and at the same time fostering great working relationships with our municipal partners. And with that, I'll now hand it over to the city of Stamford.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Ivanka Barasic, and I am a staff engineer for the City of Stamford. The DOT performs safety inspections for all bridges over 20 feet in length at 2-year intervals. The Wire Mill Road Bridge was flagged as one of the bridges in the city that needed repairs. Given that the bridge needed to be replaced, we were looking for the most efficient and cost-effective way to proceed and stay within the guidelines of the allocated bond money. Traditionally, the city would have selected and hired a consultant to develop the design and they would have been responsible for creating bid documents with the city covering 20% of the design costs. As Preeti mentioned, when the Department of Transportation offered the DMS program to the city, where the design is managed by the state with 80% funded by the feds and 20% by the state, we felt that it was a win-win solution for the city, since the state pre-selected consultants would have better knowledge of the design process, resulting in both an early completion of design and construction, not to mention the cost savings. We started meeting with the state in June of 2018 to get an understanding of how the program worked and how it would benefit the city. After several more meetings with the city recognized that this program would be a good fit and agreed to go forward with it. While the design efforts have been led by the state, they have kept us in the loop on all aspects of the project, including providing us with various technical alternatives, their pros and cons of each option, and recommendations. They have also informed us that it is the city that will be making the final decision on all design aspects. This process has been followed diligently, and the city thanks the department for truly partnering with us on fixing the city's infrastructure. The public is always welcome to reach out to the engineering department at any time if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce the project team. I am Preeti Bardwaj, the project manager, shown in the center. To my left are the department's front office leadership, which includes Mr. Bart Sweeney, Division Chief of Bridges, and Mr. Robbie Barakat, Principal Engineer. To my right are Mr. Mark Burns, Project Engineer, and Mr. Dennis McDonald from the department's Office of Rights of Way. The Consultant Liaison Engineers, or CLEs, who have brought this project to 30% design completion are Close Jensen and Miller. From CJM, we have Mr. Mike Brady, Project Manager, and Mr. Dan Carnine, Project Engineer. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally ready to present our technical portion of the presentation, and you will be hearing a lot of bridge lingo throughout the presentation. Therefore, I am about to give you a 2-minute crash course on some of the structural elements on a bridge and the numerical condition rating system assigned on a bridge. On the diagram shown, the deck is the riding surface of the bridge. The parapets, or sometimes we can even have an open rail system, help prevent errant vehicles from going off the bridge. The beams, or the girders, are the supporting structural elements on the bridge and are designed to support vehicular loads and the self-weight of the bridge, and also includes any environmental loads such as wind, seismic, etc. The parapets, the deck, and the beams and girders make up what is known as the superstructure of a bridge. The abutments and wing walls are the end supports on a bridge. And piers, if there are any, are the intermediate supports. The abutments and the wing walls and piers make up what is known as the substructure of a bridge. The substructure not only supports the superstructure, but also helps in transmitting loads from the superstructure down to the bridge foundations. All state bridges and town bridges over 20 feet in length are inspected every 2 years by the department's Bridge Safety and Evaluation Unit and are assigned a condition rating on the major bridge elements on a scale of 1 through 9, with 9 being excellent condition and 1 being imminent failure condition. When a major bridge element reaches a 4 or poor condition, that is when we start to initiate a project to address these structural deficiencies. Now that you are armed with basic bridge knowledge, I would now like to introduce Mr. Daniel Carnine, who will be presenting the technical portion of the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Dan Carnine from Close Jensen Miller. I will be presenting the technical portion of tonight's presentation. Bridge number 4070 carries Wire Mill Road over Haviland Brook and is located 0.3 miles west of State Route 137. Here's an aerial view of the site. The bridge is located in a primarily residential area with a few houses, driveways, and fences in the vicinity of the bridge. To the west is the intersection with Gutsend Borglum Road, and just before the intersection, on the west approach, is a traffic calming speed bump. The existing bridge was originally built in 1957 and consists of a steel beam and reinforced concrete deck superstructure supported by reinforced concrete abutments and wing walls. The bridge has a total structure length of 25 feet and an original curb-to-curb width of 30.5 feet. More recently, the curb-to-curb width has been reduced by temporary barriers, which can be seen in the right picture. The barriers were installed along the bridge shoulders to reduce traffic live load on the outside beams. The existing deck is in serious condition with an overall rating of 3. There are hollow areas and honeycombing up to full width and full length of the bridge bay, with 75% of the deck underside deteriorated. There are also damp areas near the existing drain holes, which can be seen in the picture on the left. The picture on the right shows the deck condition on the top side of the bridge. The superstructure is also in serious condition with an overall rating of 3. The fascia beams, or the outside beams, exhibit severe section loss at the beam ends, and there are heavy areas of laminated rust. Traffic has been removed from the fascia beams with the use of temporary barrier on the top of the structure, and the bridge has been posted for a 14-ton load restriction. The substructure is in satisfactory condition overall, with a rating of 6. There are isolated areas of cracks, hollow areas, and spalls throughout. There are also areas of minor to moderate scaling along the waterline. Due to the condition of the existing bridge, a full bridge replacement is required. The proposed bridge will consist of a prestressed concrete deck unit superstructure on integral abutments. These are preliminary drawings developed for the proposed bridge. These drawings will be explained further in the next few slides. For reference, this is a side view of the existing bridge that shows the existing 20-foot clear span. You can also see the roadway and railing on top of the bridge, the concrete deck and steel beams, and then the concrete abutments below that. The abutments have footings that go below the ground and are below the brook. Now this is an elevation view that shows the side of the proposed bridge. The proposed span will be increased to 33 feet to allow construction of the new concrete abutments behind the existing substructure. There will also be room for wildlife shelves on both sides of the brook to help prevent any wildlife from crossing the road. The top portion of the existing abutments will be removed and reinforced concrete caps will be constructed on top. These caps and the existing abutments will help maintain the existing channel. On top of the bridge, open metal bridge rail will be installed across the structure and terminate into reinforced concrete end walls at all 4 corners of the bridge. The reinforced concrete end walls at all 4 corners of the bridge will be treated with stone masonry. The picture on the left is an example of an end wall from a recent project. The picture on the right shows stone masonry that uses stones local to the city of Stamford. The proposed end walls for Wire Mill Road will have stone masonry similar to this picture. Here's a cross-section cut of the proposed bridge. The curb-to-curb width will be 30.5 feet, consisting of 2 11-foot lanes and 4.25-foot shoulders. On top in yellow of the cross-section is the open metal bridge rail. Below that, you can see the concrete slab in gray, and then the pre-stressed concrete deck units in orange. These are pictures from recent projects to show what the proposed superstructure would look like. The top picture is an example of pre-stressed concrete deck units on top of integral abutments. Both pictures show different types of open metal bridge rail installed along the road across the structure. Here's a plan view of the site. Looking down over the site, you can see the brook in blue and the proposed bridge in orange. On both sides of the bridge, in the yellow areas, the roadway will be reconstructed and new pavement installed. New guide rail will be installed along the approaches, and the traffic calming speed bump will be reconstructed on the west approach. Fencing on the south side of the bridge will have to be temporarily removed and then reset after construction. The existing roadway profile will be maintained as close as possible. This slide shows the vertical profile of Wire Mill Road. You can see the bridge in the red area is located on a crest curve, with the roadway low point located off the bridge. There are overhead utilities located over the bridge. These overhead wires will need to be temporarily relocated to accommodate construction and crane activities. We do not anticipate any disruptions to power, phone, cable, or internet service. Construction must utilize a 2.5-mile detour consisting of state and local roads. Vehicles following the detour from the west side of the bridge will have to follow Wire Mill Road, turn left onto Cedar Heights Road, turn left onto Route 137, and then a final left back onto Wire Mill Road. Construction staging with alternating one-way traffic is not feasible because the existing bridge with the barriers is too narrow. Property acquisitions will be required for this project. A permanent partial take, shown here in red, is required for construction and future maintenance of the structure. Temporary construction easements, shown in green, will also be required to perform certain construction activities, such as excavation, grading, and fence resetting. The rights-of-way process is just beginning, and individual property owners will be contacted as the project progresses. The department's rights-of-way division will explain this process in more detail later in the presentation. We will obtain all necessary permits for this project. We anticipate obtaining a Stamford Inland Wetlands permit, a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers general permit, and a flood management certification. The proposed construction duration for this project is 6 months, with an anticipated construction start of spring 2023. Construction will be funded by 80% federal and 20% municipal funds. The estimated construction cost is $1.9 million, with a municipal share of $380,000. This concludes the technical portion of tonight's presentation. I'll now hand it over to Dennis McDonald from the Department's Division of Rights-of-Way to explain the rights-of-way process.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis McDonald, and I'm a representative from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, Division of Rights-of-Way. I'm just going to provide a brief overview of the right-of-way process. So the function of the Division of Rights-of-Way is to acquire all property and property rights necessary for the project. This is done in accordance with Connecticut General Statute Section 13A73, 13A90AE, and the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Your typical right-of-way impacts include partial acquisitions, easements, and rights. Impacts are subject to change as the design progresses, but this gives a general idea of typical property impacts. Once property impacts have been established, each impacted property owner will receive a letter of intent to acquire along with a property acquisition map. The letter essentially initiates the right-of-way process, and the map provides a detailed overview of the specific right-of-way impacts. Soon after the letter is received, valuation process will take place, and once a value has been established, each impacted property owner will receive a written offer of compensation. Property owners will be given time to consider the offer and negotiate should they wish. If an agreement is reached, an acceptance document will be signed, and a closing will take place at a later date. If an agreement is not reached for whatever reason, the state will utilize its power of eminent domain and acquire the property rights through the condemnation process. Now, I understand this has a negative connotation, but many times this is done to keep a project on schedule. If the state elects to pursue eminent domain, the original offer is deposited in the court system, and property owners can continue negotiations or file a formal appeal for a reassessment of damages through the court system. Please note all appeals must be filed within 6 months from the date in which the state files for eminent domain. And that is all I have for tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our technical portion of the presentation. I would like to thank everyone on my design team and everyone behind the scenes who helped put this live event together. We are going to leave the Q&A session information on the screen for your benefit, and we will be answering any questions that came in during the presentation and answer any questions that will come in during this live Q&A session. Once again, we would like to remind everyone to please visit the project webpage to participate in the survey pertaining to tonight's event, or ask additional questions, or view project plans and information. For those of you listening on the phone, the project webpage is again portal.ct.gov/DOT Stamford 135-344. So with that, we are now going to start the live question and answer session. We will take as many questions as we can. Feel free to use that chat feature or call in by phone. The number is again 860-944-1111, or by email. The address is again dot.flbp@ct.gov. And once again, the comment period is open until April 1st, 2021. Okay, everyone, it looks like we do have a couple of questions that came in. And I'm going to read the first question out loud. And that question is, will the adjacent roadway be affected? And can I please have Dan Carnine from CJM take this question?
Sure. Thanks, Pretty. So will the adjacent roadway be affected? So adjacent to the bridge on the west approach is Gutzen-Borglum Road. During construction, traffic will always be maintained on this road. So there should always be traffic moving in and out through that intersection. There may be sometimes when the contractor is performing certain activities where there may be a temporary lane closure during the day, or when the contractor is working, and the use of a traffic flagger or police officer may be required. But we don't see any real permanent impacts or closures to the adjacent roadways.
Thank you, Dan. We have another question. When is construction anticipated to start? Dan from CJM, can you please take this question?
Sure. So right now, based on the project design schedule and coordinating with the town and looking at other projects in the area, construction is scheduled to start in spring 2023 for the Wire Mill Road project.
Thank you, Dan. We have another question. Is there any thought of coordination of this project with the planned state DOT reconstruction of the Merritt Parkway exit 35 and High Ridge Road intersection? Go ahead, Dan, if you want to take this question, and I can also chime in.
Yeah, so when we first presented this project to the department and coordinating with other units at DOT, this project was brought to our attention, and we have been reaching out to them and coordinating their exact construction duration. Right now with the construction schedule, we don't see too much of an overlap with that project, but we will be coordinating to make sure the detour for Wire Mill Road will not be impacted by this project.
Thanks, Dan. And I just want to chime in and say whatever Dan was saying, that yes, there is full coordination on all other projects that are in the vicinity, and we do make it a point to make sure that there's no conflicts or interference with our construction and those other projects. So we are always mindful of that.
Preeti,
Yes.
Preeti, this is Ivanko. Can I chime in also?
Please. Please.
Yeah, we have a project coming up on Cedar Heights Road, just southwest of this project, and that project involves a detour. But that project is scheduled to begin spring 2022, and they should be done by November of 2022. So there won't be any overlap. So, I mean, those projects are coordinated, and we continue to do so, and we don't anticipate any delays with Cedar Heights.
Okay. Thank you very much, Savanko. We have another question. Where will the contractor place his equipment? Dan? From CJM, can you please take this question?
Yeah, so because construction is utilizing a detour, and the roadway will be shut down. The contractor will likely store equipment within the closed roadway portion. So that being said, the contractor will not be allowed to block access to Gutzen-Borglum Road or any of the adjacent driveways near the bridge either.
Thank you very much, Dan. We have another question. That question is, can stage construction be used instead? Dan from CJM, can you please take this question as well?
Yep. So before I mentioned a detour had to be used, this is because we looked into staging construction for this bridge and maintaining one lane of traffic. But we did determine that the stage construction is not feasible because we can't accommodate that one lane of alternating traffic due to the bridge roadway width already being reduced by the temporary barriers that are out there today. We also don't want to move traffic closer to the edge of one side of the bridge or the other due to the existing deterioration on those outside beams on the bridge. So this is why ultimately a detour was chosen for this project.
Can I just add to that, Preeti?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to, we have some other bridge projects that we've done in Stamford over the last few years. And if anyone's driven through those, they see the type of heavy equipment that's used by contractors. So just trying to store that equipment at the same time we have this narrow existing roadway, it's really a big safety concern. So that's why where feasible, we like to do these detours and just keep the traveling public away from the heavy equipment. The contractor's working, we think it's a safer condition. And that's why we look to do these detours if feasible. And I think on this project, it makes sense.
Thank you very much, Savanko. Let's see. We have another question. Will mail delivery be impacted, and how will EMS be coordinated? Dan from CJM, can you please take the question? And Savanko, if you also want to add in also.
Sure.
Yeah. So on all of our projects, we make sure to coordinate with the city officials throughout the design process to make sure all the necessary public services are notified of the project, and that especially when there's a detour involved, like in this case, this includes the police, fire, EMS, schools, mail service. And the other thing is all of these services that will be impacted by this project or detour are going to be invited to a pre-construction meeting where the exact detour schedule will be provided. And then during construction, there will be ongoing coordination with those between the contractor and the city and those services.
Yeah, let me just add that we coordinate with our traffic department, and they have this traffic advisory committee that usually meets once a month. So we go before them, we present the project, and at this meeting is, the traffic engineers, police, fire, usually all the emergency services. So they know well in advance that this project is coming. They plan for it, and when we get closer to construction, we just iron out all the details of the advance warning signs, the advance notice in the paper so that the public is aware it's coming. And so it's an ongoing coordination issue with all the emergency services and our traffic department to make sure everyone's on board and there are no surprises.
Well, thank you very much, Savanko. I don't see any more questions right now, but I'm going to give it another minute. If any of you want to ask any questions, this is the right time. We'll wait.
Yeah, I just want to add, if people are still listening, that we have a lot of questions at these meetings about the aesthetics and the use of stone and timber railing. And I just want to cite a couple of examples we did recently in the city that people could visit if they want, just to see how they turn out. I think it turned out well. We had a project we did on Riverbank Road Bridge, just west of Route 104. It has the stone facing, it has the timber guide rail. And about 5 years ago, we completed a project on June Road, which is just north of the Merritt Parkway, where it's the real stone and timber guide rail. So if people want to see what the aesthetics look like when the bridge is completed, they're more than welcome to visit these sites and see how they turn out, which I think they turn out quite well.
Thank you. That's a very good point, Simanko, because I know aesthetics is a big concern, especially in the town of Stamford. So
Yes.
very good site pass projects. So again, ladies and gentlemen, please don't hesitate to call in with questions. The phone number is again 860-944-1111 or email us at dot-flbp@ct.gov. And I'll just give it a couple of more seconds. See if
All right,
anything-
Preeti, while you're waiting, I'll
Sure,
just add one more thing. People are usually concerned about funding. We have a capital bridge account that we use for all of our rehabilitation and replacement of bridges. This YML Road is listed in our program to be replaced, so the funds are in place, and so there are no issues on the city's end as far as funding this replacement project.
Excellent. That's wonderful to hear. All right. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. So I'm going to take this opportunity to start wrapping up. I would like to encourage you all to take that survey. The link is shown on the Teams chat box. Or for those of you watching on YouTube, the survey is below the video. This would really help us improve the virtual meeting experience in the future. And please remember that the comment period is open till April 1st for this project. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the department and the city of Stamford, we would like to thank you for joining us tonight. And we hope you found this meeting interesting and informative and that we were able to answer all your questions. All of us on the design team and the city of Stamford are always available to answer any questions, even outside of the comment period. We are also available to meet with you individually on the project site if you so desire. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful evening.